Like I found them real corny, but at the end of the day, we as a community, as a black community, we have to take responsibility and thoroughly look towards those people instead of just letting them in the community. Then after that, be like, oh, did you notice that he's a P3DO? Or did you notice that he's really not part of our culture?
You want to know something funny? I rewatched that video where there were all the people complaining about the cookie shop and how they're appropriating black culture and they're just promoting the negative stereotypes. And I was sitting here thinking, why are there still people who operate like this? You have all of these individuals who just so happen to be black that promote all types of degeneracy, not just to people in their early 20s who are black, but to the younger black people. And seemingly this doesn't get talked about enough. And we know the reasons why. It's because a lot of people are too chicken shit and they're afraid to be called a raccoon for some fucking reason by their friend groups, their families, a bunch of random people on Twitter. And they think that that's perfectly acceptable. But in this vast world of people who just constantly let things slide unless you're not the right skin color to let it slide, I do find it a little bit interesting that at this current moment, now for some reason, people are starting to see a problem. Why are they starting to see a problem? Because a 10-year-old, I believe it's the same one that went viral a couple months ago for singing and rapping about shit he shouldn't even know about, but because the culture and grr and insert here about the struggle of being an African American, y'all let that slide. Y'all seemingly didn't want to admit that Candace Owens was just a little bit right about how stupid this was. And look what happened. A 10-year-old is getting lap dances from grown adults. And I see all these different reactions and I enjoy all these different reactions because it's coming from a bunch of people who clearly see that this is a problem, but they're not adding that little detail that needs to be put there about how we got to this point. We got to this point because we let a bunch of grown adults fixate themselves on what they deem to be the culture for everybody.
Y'all not watching y'all parents be crackheads and prostitutes and doing this shit to make ends meet.
Now listen and listen well. I am a varied individual with many sorts of layers to me. Just one question for everybody. Maybe one of you could help me out. What does being a crackhead do to make ends meet for a family of four? Because I can understand prostitution. I truly could. Because if you down on your luck and this is like one of your last options and you got to make ends meet, I can understand that. But being a crackhead is not helpful to anybody except the crack dealer you bought the crack from.
When y'all try to compare the struggles and experiences of other people of color to the struggles and experiences of black folk, y'all like to forget one critical detail, and that is that everybody hates black people. And I'm not saying this to be victimy here, but the truth is almost every culture has some component of either anti-blackness or at least colorism, which is discrimination against dark-skinned people. So when people say, oh, I'm insert race or ethnicity here and I don't feel this way, black people are being dramatic. No, black people have a different experience from you, especially if they're darker skinned, because everybody's got beef with us. It might seem like we're sensitive or nitpicky, but that's because so many key parts of life are built on a foundation of anti-blackness and colorism, which means that, yeah, there's an issue in a lot of the things we do in a day. And when someone points that out, it's not because they love being the victim. I know I personally would much rather live a life where this doesn't impact me on a day-to-day basis, but it does. And if you are exhausted of hearing us all the time, imagine how we feel.
And I will say this again. Call me whatever you want. Make fun of me for how I look. Talk about my upbringing and the black experience all you want. Every nigga didn't grow up the same. I hate to break it to you. Everybody didn't grow up in a crack house. Everybody didn't have a struggle. Everybody didn't have a bunch of white people or Asian men following them around the stores. Some people actually lived a different experience. And some people have a little bit of both experiences and all experiences so they can speak with a little bit more clarity and realizing that if you were a motherfucker promoting this shit, endorsing this shit, sticking your tongue out and saying, selling weed and making it seem like all this shit was cool, no wonder the next generation is gonna see that and say, oh, I could do that too, and it'll be a part of my culture, as if that shit makes any fucking sense. It never did. And the fact that it went on for so long and still goes on to this day is an embarrassment, not of the white people, not of the indoctrination, but of black people. And it's weird how, again, I'll bring this up only because I'm petty. You have motherfuckers who will line up, albeit a little bit corny, all wearing suits, and somehow this gets scrutinized as if we're supposed to be pulling our fucking pants down to our fucking knees and acting as if this is the standard for everybody. It's not. I wish you motherfuckers would stop. I'm so happy that finally there's a stronger discussion about representation done the right way, not just in your bullshit TV, but in actual ongoing outside activities that don't have to do with your fucking phone, that have to do nothing in regards to entertainment or dictating what a celebrity has to say because their chakra and their zodiac sign matches mine. It is getting fucking stupid, and the fact that it went on for so long is embarrassing, and the fact that people have spent time over these past at least 8 years trying to get y'all to fucking realize some of this shit is dumb and y'all just turn them into coons is fucking stupid. You have an exhausting amount of people who will tell you how proud they are to be black, how proud they are of their skin color, how proud they are of other people's accomplishments just because they are black. But yet they somehow don't all want to come together and say this obvious fucking thing is stupid, but let a white person come give their opinion on it. You can't speak about this because you don't have the understanding of what it's like to be a black person. Is somebody seeing a dude, a child, not a dude, not a man, a child getting ass thrown in his face from grown adults? If we all can't agree that that's a problem, then we all fucking suck as humanity. I don't give a fuck about history. I don't give a fuck about your lived experience. I don't give a fuck about what you want to define as the culture, whether it be a bunch of black people doing it, or if you suddenly realize a white person does the same thing, it's somehow culturally appropriating on your skin color and your well-being. Don't bring up Rosa Parks. Don't bring up Martin Luther King. Don't bring up Malcolm X. Don't bring up nothing unless you're going to say a 10-year-old black boy getting lap dances from grown adults is fucking weird. If you say but, if you say and, if you say however, I don't want to hear it. That's all you need to say. I will say, if you're going to add something to it, hope CPS gets fucking involved, because at no point am I going to sit here and say anybody should be having a child in a situation like that openly participating. You motherfuckers have wanted CPS for lesser. I'm gonna need you to have the same energy here. But who knows? Maybe I've lost the plot. Maybe I don't know what it's like to grow up in a struggle and have coitus with a random woman, wait 9 months, and then a baby pops out and I get that motherfucker in the studio to start talking about pussy. Maybe I've truly not lived what it means to be a black African American in the here and now, to dictate what is of culture and what is just fucking stupid. Maybe I don't know anything, but you let me know in the comments down below. Are we gonna start having fun with this? Is this a part of the culture? Or are we actually gonna do something? Are we actually going to shift this fucking mindset just a little bit for all the people that want solutions and you want to figure shit out? It starts in the community. It starts with the elders. You could throw me in that category. It starts with us actually saying what is good and what is not. Don't try to philosophically speak to me about, well, how can you define what is good? Fuck you. You're lost. Go smoke that weed, you depressed bastard. It is simple. A 10-year-old getting twerked on is not good. 2 + 2 = 4. It wasn't that hard to figure the fuck out. I will see you all in the next one. Subscribe. Goodbye.